The Bearded Lady and the Drag Queen. It didn't happen all at once, as nothing really happens that way. It crept across her face stealthily and slowly, as adolescence had, or divorce. One day the light caught a flyaway hair nestling there on Barbara's chin. Nothing bad, nothing to end the world about, and she'd stroked it away with her fingers, only for it to return the next day with a friend, then another. Within 3 months she'd gone from a daily routine that had astounded her close friends with only soap and water, no Clearasil, no toner, no 24-hour firming cream, to a 20-minute face pack with intricate plan lighting. Hairs didn't like being plucked. They seemed to take it as a personal affront, responding to her new king with scorched shadows on her face, scab moustaches, a fetid goatee. So she called in the hired guns, roaming the pharmacy aisles in a large brimmed hat, desperate for her Agent Orange to restore order in the region and give her back what had once been hers via nature. But by then she was firefighting, avoiding foods with estrogen, avoiding water with progesterone, slathering, peeling, plucking for an hour a day or more. She wouldn't let him touch her face, for fear his delicate fingers might reap the suggestion of stubble. But he must have known, because when she was nervous she would pluck at the hairs, digging at them, pulling at them, wishing them away whilst watching TV or reading her crime novels.
I had just woken up, I woke up as if from a dream, as if from a dream. When I heard a voice say, crying out to me, take this blessed soul and set it free. Take this blessed soul and set it free.
At night she dreamed of laser surgery, of smooth, lineless complexions, of acceptance and unconditional love. The words bearded lady were funny at first, meaningless at best until you hit 55. Now they were death words, whispered in the corners of her imagination, just outside reality, threatening to seep in and colour who she was forever. She feared the unuttered words, looking quickly away from the teenagers in town in case they mouthed the incantation that would send her straight back to the house forever. He didn't leave her because of the hairs. They had one of those marriages that other people used to justify their own fear of commitment. It only wouldn't have ended if neither of them hadn't thought of something better to do. And it was touch and go that he would. Between the commute to the office, the supermarket, and their occasional dinners with friends, there was slim pickings for adventure. But one day he'd decided to buy a takeaway coffee and had exchanged glances with one of those middle-aged divorcees in mint green monsoon suits, her glowing veneers tinged with a hint of decay, a 20-a-day habit she'd been trying to break, and the knowledge instilled from a healthy variety of evening classes at the local community college. While Barbara had installed a super mirror to track the hairs down as they sprouted from the open pores on the tip of her nose, sneezing and gagging, no dead skin cell left to rest in peace. He'd married her in an intimate ceremony on a Greek island with only a few hundred family and friends in attendance. They borrowed a flower girl from the couple over the road. They'd converted the attic into a writing room. He'd started wearing linen and talking about wine.
Who to become, who to become, who to be, like a volcano erupt, like a volcano erupt, like a teenage dream. Take this blessed soul and set it free. Take this blessed soul and set it free.
Barbara's friends' expressions had changed from distant sympathy to vague boredom. They all believed it was time for her to move on. It was harder to explain to them that it wasn't him she missed, in the first hours of every day, where once she had drifted through the house in a hazy light, gathering coffee and papers, vaguely singing along to the radio, were now spent in the bathroom, staring, wondering if ever it would just stop growing as quickly as it had begun. You need to get out, not to meet men, but for some good clean fun. her neighbour had told her whilst mixing her third daytime cocktail and hacking her husband's email account to find out if he was banging the girl from the corner store. Her neighbour had a tendency to scream and throw things out the window until the lawn was populated with broken toys. One day, she'd either be sued by the city council or granted a retrospective at the Whitney. The bar was in an area of town she'd never walked through before at night. She clutched her embroidered purse like a baby in a war zone whilst men in jeans ignored them and women in tiny dresses had shivered in the December air, dreaming of Christmas party season as it was in magazines. The bar had seemed oppressive until they had taken to the stage. But when the music cracked the stale beer air like a clap of cleansing thunder, she felt her shoulders suddenly melting. By her second margarita, she was whooping too as a 6'5" woman with golden hair mouthed the lyrics to All By Myself, tearing the head off a teddy bear, throwing a stiletto in the eye of the world who had caused her all that pain, pissing on his fire. And from that moment, Barbara wanted to run away with the drag queens.
I am a force to reckon with, a force to reckon with. You toss it away, you toss it away like a dried flower day. I am a one-woman band, a one-woman band. You stagehand man, you stagehand man. Try to take my power, babe, and you'll be undone like the unloved sun.
She waited at the end of the bar, whilst her neighbour had staggered cabward, with her glassy eyes staring in different directions. Barbara didn't know what she was going to say or do until she flung Barbara a glance and offered her a toast with smudged eye makeup. She was Moira Mauler, at least until she thought of a better name. Punk drag queen with glitter mohican and bottom liner applied with an expert hand. Moira demurred as Barbara ordered them a pitcher. She giggled as Barbara fed her peanuts and agreed when Barbara offered her a place to stay. The hotel is full of creeps, she confessed, crossing her knees as she sidled into the cab. Moira loved the lighting in the bathroom. Barbara loved the company of someone else who knew the pain of a nair burn. Barbara giggled like a child as she tottered through the room in oversized stilettos, glitter thrown hastily and drunkenly across her face, plastic pearls slung around her neck, glinting out from a boa. Moira shared her flask of whiskey. She declined Barbara's offer of codeine. They slipped seamlessly into a routine of brushing one another's cheeks in inspection before mixing patches of sangria, singing along to Madonna, and creating ice cream sundaes before heading to the show. Moira showed Barbara how to dye her clothes, slashing once peach blouses with scissors and pinning back together. Barbara taught Moira how to pluck nasal hairs without sneezing. At Christmas, Moira changed her name to Merry Christmas and had worn red and green while dancing to Santa Baby. She admitted that one day she wanted to do her own songs, but for now she'd lip sync. "Take me with you," breathed Barbara, as the two women lay on the sofa in the dressing room after the New Year's show, the cracked leather of the couch grinning at them like the man in the moon, and Moira had smiled a magic smile. "Can you sew?" she asked. "I can dance," said Barbara. Barbara couldn't dance. At least she'd never tried. But maybe now it was the best time to learn.
Now I'll take off my dress, take off my dress, take the sled for a ride, take the sled for a ride. Leave the trash for the garbage man, leave the trash for the garbage man. Let the sun start to shine. Take this blessed soul and set it